Alright, is Carmax soon to follow the good old Carvana route? Are they spiraling down the funnel of bankruptcy? Stick around, we'll get into it, tell you guys a little bit more. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm Steve, thanks for coming. It's basically going over everything that's going to help you get ahead in life. I also go over some Turo stuff, but for the most part, today we are going to get into Carmax and what this means for the consumers, us. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so Carmax, they came out with their Q3 earnings report and basically their plan to get through this storm that they're about to see, because man, they're about to see a big one. Just like Carvana saw, you know, the good old vending machine car dealership. They had the perfect storm to grow like they did and basically tumble just as quick. They didn't have the foundation that Carmax does. Carmax has been around since '93, 30 years in the making. They kind of know what they're doing, right? So their whole thing is to be the best retailer for used cars. Now the way they want to do this is they want to change the car buying experience and make it not so much a hassle, so that way when you're at the counter signing your life away for a new car, you're not getting the commission breath from the sales rep. It's just cut and dry. Here's our price, thank you, and we will see you again for the next car, right? Like, they just made it super cut and dry. They actually have it on their website that through all their units, they're making a profit of about $2,300. Now this isn't that much, but it's enough to cover everything that they need to do to obviously grow to be number one reseller in used cars. Now this doesn't mean that every car has that $2,300 wiggle room. It just means that some had higher, some had lower, some they were upside down on, but they wanted to make the deal and build the relationship, which is what they've done. They've done this for 30 years, so they know what they're doing. So anyway, back to their Q3 earnings. Stocks for them are actually down. They're actually down 25%, and their earnings are down, right? So Q3 2022 versus Q3 of 2021, they actually made $6.5 billion in net revenue in 2022, which is down. It's crazy that you're gonna be down, but you're down 23% over Q3 of 2021. So what does this mean? It's insane. When you think about $6.5 billion, like, you're just like, whatever. Those guys aren't even gonna notice it. When you're a business that big, you're gonna notice it, right? It hurts. But it doesn't really matter to you or I, because I'm not seeing any of it, right? I don't have shares or stocks in them. I don't know, you guys might, so you might see a little bit of it, but you're never gonna see anywhere close to the 6.5 billion, right? So what they're saying is they're down that 23% over last year. Now, Bill Nash actually came out and said, hey, we have plans, we have everything in order to weather the storm, and this is gonna be for short term and long term. So they already know, they have a bunch of minds in it to figure out what they need to do to weather the storm. Some of the things that they have actually done is the intake of cars that they've been getting from auctions. They have their own auctions. They have Manheim. They have, there's one or two other auctions. But they've actually been bringing in less cars, so that way they're not sitting on this overhead of saying getting a Accord for $20,000 when they're going to sell it for 17. That's the last thing they want to do. So what they did was stop their buying of cars. Now in Q3, they actually bought 238,000 units, right? So those are all cars through all their locations that they're selling. Sounds like a lot, right? It's insane. But this is actually down 39.8% over Q3 of last year. So obviously, like I said, they are seeing something going on here. And this is something to know for yourselves, right? Us as consumers, hey, if they're not buying cars, we probably shouldn't be buying cars, right? Because they're marking them up, and if we're buying them at this high market, it's gonna just kind of snowball and really hurt the consumers. Now, this is only gonna be for certain price points, and don't quote me on it, but basically when you start seeing cars that are 20,000 or more, you'll start seeing it with those. Those $5,000, $6,000 cars that you're seeing sold private parties, it's not really gonna affect those cars too much. It's just gonna be, I mean, it might drop more cars to what the actual price should be, which is, you know, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 versus 12. But for the most part, the lower end cars, you're not gonna see that much of an influence on that. But this is huge to see, because obviously if they're gonna stop buying cars, they're waiting for it to come back so they can buy them at a cheaper price and still be able to get their margins. So just kind of keep that all in mind when you're out looking for your next car. So for you Turo people out there, if you're looking to expand your fleet, just hold your horses a little bit, save some cash, and go out and buy these things cash. Or you can put a bigger down payment on them. But if Carmax isn't buying them, it's probably not the time for you to be buying cars for your expansion. Give it a few months, maybe a year. I don't know how long it's gonna take, so I don't wanna get out numbers and you guys get mad at me for it. But it's definitely a time to just kind of hold your horses, save that capital, and go out and buy that car later on. If you absolutely have to, go get your grandma's Lincoln Town car and roll that around for a couple months, right? Just do whatever you need to save that money so you can be ahead in the long run. So I hope this helped out. Like I said, it's all about trying to help you guys out, get ahead, stay ahead, and not being in that rat race. Do all that stuff down below. You guys know what to do. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Later, y'all.